Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way that he did, I don't know how you can doubt the kid anymore.
It would seem likely that next fight out he's going to get a big name opponent, right? And probably that would be the one that put him into title contention.
Tonight was a pretty big name opponent too. But yeah, he's in that spot now where he's going to be fighting top guys, yeah.
The 30-year-old Scouser just stormed into the UFC lightweight elite, silencing every critic by absolutely brutalizing Michael Chandler. Some say Chandler's pushing 40 and clearly not the same anymore after years of wait. Others, they've switched sides and are now calling Paddy a future title contender in the most stacked division in the UFC. But what's next for the King of the North? After the rankings update, our hero will finally break into the top 10, and that's when things get really interesting. Can Paddy actually hang with the current lightweight sharks, guys who aren't old enough to be Joe Biden's college buddies? Or is he on the same path as guys like Shara Bullet or BSD? We'll match Paddy with each of the top 10 guys and decide. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to our channel if you don't want Tony to start his title reign from Paddy rematch. Let's go.
I got two names for you, Moicano. The first one is Paddy. The second one is Pimblett.
But they say Paddy has a fight.
I don't care, bro. Scrap that shit. Make this fight now. Moicano versus Paddy. Settle it, bro.
Too easy, brother. Too easy off my money.
Starting from the man Paddy himself tried to challenge, and not even once.
Paddy Pimblett comes out and says, credit to Hanato for stepping up on 24 hours notice. But come on, brother. You're never going to get that opportunity again. At least go out and on your shield and go to sleep. Moicano, what is your response?
Paddy Pimblett, easy money.
Although Moicano is only ranked number 10 in the lightweight division, he has enough hype to sell a fight with Paddy, especially considering many lightweights are currently booked. Money has a BJJ black belt, just like Paddy himself, but Renato's grappling was recently exposed by Mr. Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Black belt? Who give him? We have to check that, mom.
How quickly things change in MMA. It's not for nothing that they say, you're only as good as your last fight. Pimblett showed an improved stand-up against Chandler, especially his defense and calf kicks, those that turned King Green into Bobby again. Paddy was sharp and fast against a 39-year-old veteran, but will it work against a 35-year-old political Moicano?
No.
Economic-wise, Moicano already exposed BSD's grappling and showed his brilliant fight IQ as well as deadly ground and pound. Even Islam Makhachev wasn't brave enough to stand and bang with the Brazilian.
This is #1 bullshit.
When two elite grapplers meet inside the UFC octagon, we often witness a Thai boxing clash. But I don't think Paddy will risk his life standing against Carnero, who almost sent Islam back to Dagestani mountains.
This is #1 bullshit.
I see Renato as a better wrestler and grappler too, not even mentioning his experience in opposition. Styles make fights, and Moicano isn't the best one for our hero. Still fun fight, but highly unlikely according to Renato himself.
Maybe a future opponent of yours, Paddy the Baddy. Maybe.
Maybe, I don't think so. Right now, you know, especially in fighting Chandler right now, like he said, probably he's gonna try to fight Gaethje or somebody on the top 5, but who knows?
Let's pick up the pace and move on to the first name in the top 10 that Paddy can finish. Of course, not counting the GOAT.
God bless. I'll see you at the top.
The almost 36-year-old Iranian has become one of the UFC lightweight division's biggest what-ifs. Dangerous BJJ, decent wrestling, and deadly overhand left. Before the brutal knockout by Oliveira, he was seen as the main threat to Islam. But now, it feels like he doesn't stand a chance against this man. Dariush is one of the least likely matchups for the Brit. Zero hype, coming off 2 knockout losses, and sitting at number 9 in the rankings. Still, if Pimblett were matched up right now with him instead of Ruffy or Moicano, I'd give the edge to Paddy. Benil was never fast with his hands, even at his peak, and at this point, his speed is comparable to Joe Biden's movement before Trump got elected.
What a statement you just made, my friend. Wow!
If the Iranian managed to close the distance without being cracked, he'd likely initiate some grappling exchanges early, but he'd tired quickly after intense scrambles, as we saw against Charles, and it's not even certain he'd make it to the 2nd or 3rd at this stage of his career. Given the fact that the Poles' managers clearly aren't from this planet, we shouldn't expect this fight to happen. Dana would rather wear a wig than throw his cash cow under a Polish tank. Mateusz lost a close fight to Hooker in Australia, but that doesn't mean he should be underestimated. As always, styles make fights, and Gamrot's style is a nightmare for most. Chaotic stance, solid gas tank, big heart, and a granite chin. I think Paddy could potentially catch the Pole in some slick submissions or try to steal rounds by taking his back. But even when it comes to striking, things aren't that simple. Chandler couldn't apply his usual pressure because of his age and Paddy's quick kicks. Gamrot, on the other hand, is much younger, more dynamic, uses both stances, and nearly impossible to finish. Bad one for Paddy, but I doubt it ever happens. If there's a slight chance of fighting Dan, it's a best possible matchup for Paddy here and now. Given Pimblett's hype and popularity, he needs to be carefully built up toward a title shot, not just thrown under the tank right away. Just like with Reyes, Dan managed to reboot his career with a 3-fight win streak after returning to lightweight, but not without problems. In every single fight, Dan gets into serious trouble. Before he turns things around, he always looks like he's one step away from meeting his maker. Hooker is dangerous on the feet, but he can be wrestled, and more importantly, he lets you wrestle him. Same goes for his striking. He'll hit you, but he'll also let you hit him.
And he's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
And as soon as he faces someone with serious grappling, the gas tank starts to empty. Paddy has shown he's no longer the reckless brawler he used to be. He's started to stick to a game plan. Dan doesn't have that one-punch knockout power or high fighting IQ. He's a solid, aggressive brawler who's here to get CTE himself and reward you with it too.
Is he fucking awesome?
If Paddy sticks to the game plan, makes Dan swing and miss taking the fight to the ground, I think he can even finish Hooker. I combine these two into one category because, in my opinion, Paddy doesn't stand a chance against either of them. Plus, there's news that the Diamond's Last Dance will happen this summer against the Blessed One.
Period. End of story.
Max at 155 is a beast of a different breed, and I believe even his fight with Ilya could have played out differently in this weight class.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe.
But that's not the case.
As for Dustin, he's a nightmare matchup for Paddy stylistically, especially considering his bout with Islam, who only managed to take the Diamond down 5 times out of 16 attempts. Both Max and Dustin are straight-up volume fighters who pour relentless pressure on their opponents. The difference is, after a couple of clean hooks from Poirier, Paddy would be out cold, taking a trip to the Shadow Realm. Taking Holloway down is no walk in the park either, and while he might not have the same level of grappling as Dustin, no one's really managed to exploit that in the cage.
We have to check that, mom.
Knowing Justin's management, this fight is pretty much a fantasy. The highlight is either going to wait for a title shot or fight for a vacant belt when Islam moves up to 170. But let's stick to the plan and play the what-if game. Let's say the fight does happen this year. You might call me crazy, but I'd back Pimblett in that matchup. In the last fight, Rafa was able to ragdoll Justin a bit. And keep in mind, Rafael's takedowns are rooted more in Muay Thai sweeps than traditional wrestling, and Rafa is the last fighter to be taken down by.
Yeah.
To this day, the ex-BMF champ is still shaky when it comes to grappling.
We have to check that, man.
I genuinely consider Paddy's grappling to be elite. In a pure grappling, starting from the knees, he'd absolutely run through Justin, and I can put my house on it. The real question is, can Paddy get the highlight to the ground before Justin sends him to Morpheus Kingdom? I think he can. Justin is 36 now, and he's clearly past his prime, which, let's be honest, peaked back in 2023. He still has those trademark leg kicks in his arsenal, capable of chopping down trees, but it's been a while since Justin truly shut someone's lights out with his hands. And even if he does manage to catch Paddy with an uppercut or overhand right, finishing him there won't be an easy task either.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Coming back from that war with Max, where he got sent to the Shadow Realm, will take a toll, especially at this age, considering how many wars he's already been in. Respect to Pimblett for calling out the entire lightweight elite, but if we're being serious about a potential matchup with either of these two, there's really nothing to discuss. With Dustin or Max, there's at least a faint chance the fight hits the ground where Paddy could try to cook something up, but against Charles or Arman, that chance doesn't exist. If Paddy were 25, we could argue he's got time to tighten up his striking defense and build some real punching power, but he's 30 now, not old, but no longer the young prospect either. The reality is, he's unlikely to develop that much, and with his current skill set, he simply doesn't have enough to hang with guys like Arman or Charles at this stage of their careers. I think Oliveira brutalizes him so badly, while the fight with Arman can be closer, but still don't even believe he can go the distance. Now, that's a whole different story. I genuinely think Paddy is Islam's executioner. He's gonna buggy choke him right in front of Khabib, and that's exactly why Islam's looking to run up to 170.
Cocaine isn't cheap. It's expensive.
Paddy's a popular and charismatic guy, no doubt. But what he's actually missing is strong wrestling background, striking defense, and real knockout power to compete at the top 5 level. What you see here is a full breakdown of the fighters our guy can realistically beat, and those who are more than likely to stop this hype train. In my opinion, Paddy should aim for a fight with someone like Dan or Justin if we're talking about opponents ranked above him. With the right circumstances and a flashy win, he could even make for a title shot. But do I truly believe he'll ever become champion?
No way. No way. Why not? Because...
What's your take on this young man and how far can he go? Don't forget to tell us in the comments, or T-Ferg comes back for his vengeance.